I never asked for this.
I did cover an immersive sim before with Bioshock, which came from the roots of a trend back in the 90s, with System Shock paving the way for the genre to be synonymous with sci-fi. But what I consider to be the granddaddy of them all, and to a much higher degree of importance, it being the most important game to exist, in my opinion, became the clear definition of this genre, which has been floating around on being good or somewhat meh in the year of our Lord 2025. Deus Ex. Now, back in 2011, and allow me to include everyone else, we were all succumbed to the giant that was Skyrim, and I think it was a pivotal time for a lot of things that really started a lot of advancements in technology, not just in video gaming, but around any facet of human living at the time. And that's why I think the game that had the Adam Jensen be entrusted to bring it back to the limelight and be our vessel for a narrative that speaks on a lot of truths that alluded to the real world is one that you should go out and play regardless of how complex you may think it is. Spoiler alert, it's not. And I trust you to find your way in a game that carries the immersive sim genre and cyberpunk as a whole in a time it needed the most. Just don't forget to check the achievements of the game you wanted to try a certain place file first before going in guns blazing, because I was surprised to know that the pacifist achievement didn't pop for me when I finished the game a couple of moments ago. Personally speaking, I see these games as avenues for me to break the norm of what a modern game should play and be like. As much as I want to jump around as my main superhero in a game that made Overwatch go bye-bye and run around the Aqualine with my soon-to-be beefed-up JDM machines, I love me an experience that allows me to do what I want in its sandbox while challenging myself to not succumb to game-ending the poor NPCs that's in my way to save mankind, to not have it divided at the end of the day. And experiencing Human Revolution gave me a refreshing experience that one would definitely have when they first played those Splinter Cell games ages ago. Being a sneaky pacifist, Adam Jensen was fulfilling to say the least. And with ADOS Montreal shaping the numerous vistas, we can fully utilize the immersive sim staples with varying ways to enter a building, to finding secret areas, and hidden ways to solve solutions or situations is a stellar break from all the norms, if you ask me. The first mission played out as you would expect from a Deus Ex game, and as the first one, you were given a choice if you're going to be a tough, augmented soldier or the smooth operative right on the get-go.
First priority is the Typhoon. I'm keeping SWAT out until you've secured it. As far as rules of engagement go, I'll defer to you. Lethal or non-lethal?
I'm not looking to start a firefight in there, just neutralize them.
For the most of the game, I relied only on the tranquilizer rifle and taking the bad guys down, which, funnily enough, consumed your battery resources. Like, would you really need all that power to take down an enemy to consume your augment batteries? In my head, that would just give the poor bastard heavenly amounts of head trauma. And, just instead of knocking them out night-night. Besides that quirk, I relied on those for combat and experiencing what I think is the game's strongest suit, mobility. On the higher difficulties, you were limited to 2 active recharging batteries that used the upgrades you wish to run the game with. For me, it was a no-brainer. It's definitely the cloak feature. Sure, it's easily cheesable even when you're limited to 2 batteries, but it is so liberating to just run around the levels and quickly witting your way out of combat scenarios with this one, while seeing the somewhat advanced AI for its time scramble around to find you. This game also hosts my favorite hacking minigame, which was a far cry from Bioshocks, and as well as numerous games that have mandatory minigames like this embedded on the gameplay loop. At first, everything seems difficult since you're just, starting off with hacking, but as you invest on the upgrades, it becomes a breeze and an enjoyable experience to just save your auto-unlock tools and play out a well-thought hacking minigame from the minds at ADOS. Kudos to all y'all from your boy Couchies. Aside from a strong gameplay that is definitely a nice start for games like this for curious gamers out there, the game is definitely in the culture with a protagonist that's definitely built around the hero stereotypes. But make it more cyberpunk, if you will, with Adam Jensen. I'm sure he never asked for this, but it is definitely us who asked to guide him through what I thought was a worthwhile story about power, greed, technological advancement, and the consequences of curiosity being used through the guise of a man looking for answers on what happened with his one true love. I have no intentions to spoil the game in this video, but what I can say is that if there's anything we need now within the landscape of current events, this game still gives a relevant piece of media we can ponder upon with all that's happening out there through governments and corporations seeking power. There's also a game mechanic that I highly regard when it comes to pushing the story forward: the persuasion system. I think this is the best use of a persuasion system in all of gaming. Well, that I know of, which is leagues beyond what Oblivion had. So basically, the game has conversations and dialogues that's in first person, where it transfers you to an LA Noire pseudo-interrogation sequence, and putting yourself in the midst of these encounters, just trusting your gut in order to win, feels so great. It helps that the voice acting is top-notch all throughout, and especially in this minigame too, where Adam Jensen really wants you to forget that he was once your crew member in Need for Speed Carbon.
Nikki said that you might be looking for a new wingman. I'll even put up with this guy.
I never asked for this.
Although your mileage in dealing with the sometimes janky animations may affect your experience, I say you can definitely give it a pass considering this game is 14 years old at this point. With all of that raving for this game, and with it being non-existent in price, that's sometimes an equivalent of $1 in my region for the Director's Cut edition that integrates the only story DLC in the main campaign, I say that this game gave the idea I had for cyberpunk justice, where corporations rule over the world and the synthesizers masked with atmospheric booms and whistles bring you to the future. Now, with games like this and the apt Cyberpunk 2077. But even without fancy ray tracing and Idris Elba's to experience in a cyberpunk world, I believe that starting your Adam Jensen experience from this up to the sequel that deserves to have a modern game, another sequel to make the trilogy complete, which was sadly cancelled by the Embracer Group, is a worthwhile time for you to just kick back, relax, run through some vents and crawl spaces, and knock out special operatives while they're sitting in front of a terminal. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.